A man who had been locked up for 3 years suddenly realized that the tiny cockroach in the corner of his cell might be the key to his freedom. The moment the idea hit him, he rushed over. Then he turned off the lights. To test his suspicion, he scraped the vent with a nail clipper and pressed lightly against the wall. To his surprise, the cement cracked and started falling apart. He began digging at the wall with everything he had. The old concrete came apart more easily than expected. Before long, he had cleared a good section around the vent. The next day, during a meal, he looked at his spoon and came up with a risky plan. He secretly reshaped the spoon's edge to make it useful, then asked the guard for a replacement. Another inmate helped cover for him, and the guards never suspected a thing. But one spoon wasn't enough. With help from other inmates, he gathered more materials, broke apart the spoon, turned it into a stronger tool, and kept digging through the vent while the others stood watch. Little by little, the passage opened up, but inside there were metal pins blocking the way. To remove them, he managed to get a piece of metal from the workshop and smuggled it back so cleverly that it even got past the metal detector. Eventually, the grate came off. He looked inside and saw a maze of pipes that might actually lead outside, but escaping wasn't going to be easy. The problem was avoiding surprise inspections, and also making sure it looked like someone was still inside the cell during checks. Smart Morris came up with the solution. Using newspapers and paint, he created a fake vent cover that looked exactly like the original. Then he made a fake head out of paper and placed it on the bed, so in the dark, it looked like someone was asleep. Slowly, everything came together. Frank decided to be the first to climb through the vent and scout the route. Right then, a guard started heading toward his cell. From outside, the fake head looked so real that the guard didn't notice anything, and Frank got away with it. But then the guard got suspicious. The moment he reached out to check it with his hand, Frank had already made it back. But another problem, a heavy protective cover blocking the exit. To remove it, they found a drill made from an electric fan that was stolen by Frank from the music room. That night, with help from the others, they climbed up and cut through the anchor bolts until the path finally opened. The day before the escape, the warden suddenly ordered a search. He moved things around near the vent, but the fake cover looked so convincing that nothing seemed unusual. Still, he announced that Frank would be moved to another cell next morning. That meant time was up. That night, they made their move. 3 left the fake heads in their beds and crawled through the vent. They reached the roof, climbed down using pipes, avoided the spotlights, crossed the prison boundary, and made it to the shoreline. Then they inflated their homemade life jackets and jumped into the freezing water. The next morning, when the guards came for inspection, all they found was a fake head lying in the bed. The entire prison went into lockdown. Helicopters, boats, search teams, everyone was looking for them. But all they found were a few pieces washed up near the shore. The men were gone.